Today, I want to talk about how to successfully navigate your way through the world. And in order to do so, we really have to master the decision making process. As we all know that life is full of decisions, every day is full of decisions. How do we do that? Do we follow our bliss, go from joy to joy to joy? Or are we the immovable rocks that can analyze and look at things from this steady, centered place? How do we go about this process? Let's dive into it together. Hi, this is Elisa with the Rebel Crone, and today I want to dive into a really important facet of life, and that is how to make decisions. We are confronted with decisions all the time. Now, sometimes those decisions are big ones. We come to huge crossroads in our life where one way is going to take us off in this direction, choosing the other one's going to take us off in the other one, and they can be very, very different. Like when it comes time to making a job decision, maybe you've got an offer that's going to take you across the country, away from your family, away from all your friends, but it's a great opportunity for your future, maybe a great opportunity to make money, a great opportunity to have all kinds of new experiences. These are big decisions to make. The decision you're dating somebody, should I marry them or not? That's another big decision. That's a huge commitment, and that sets you off in a very different trajectory. What are your core values? How do they compare to your family? What is life going to be like with that person? What would life be like without that person? I mean, these big decisions are super, super important. And sometimes when we look at all the facts around, there's like black and white, this or this, and they're very easy things to compare and to see what maybe is going to work in my favor. But then we come to the little things, the everyday decisions we have to make that may seem small and inconsequential, but actually they are quite consequential. And let's look into that. Let's start with the foundation of who we are, the foundation of these immortal beings in this physical vessel. We're the invisible and we are the visible, and we have a destiny to fulfill, right? I'm sure you felt that. I have throughout my whole life. I felt like, wow, who is Elisa? Why am I here? And what am I meant to do? I think these are the fundamental questions we all ask ourselves. Who are we? Why we are here? And what are we meant to do in this world? And to fulfill that destiny, we could say that divine destiny that propels us forward, we've got to make a lot of decisions in life. And sometimes those decisions can feel really burdensome because we want to make the right decisions. We want to do the right thing. And that's where we get the advice, right? That's where spiritual advice comes in that can be most helpful. Like the advice of be in the immovable rock of your world. Be that grounded force where the swirling currents of the world don't affect you. From this place, make your decisions. And then we hear, follow your bliss, follow your joy. And those joys, by looking at the world out there, find the place to move that brings you the most fulfillment. Where the two seem very contradictory, right? Is be immovable here and look and decide, or to be looking out there and being in the movement and deciding there. Well, how do we handle that? How do we handle the big decisions? But more importantly, how do we handle the little decisions? Every day, those decisions we have to make. Is it all comes down to the sequence of how I do things. Do I follow my bliss out there and then I get centered by following, I find my joy and then I center in it and I ground myself in that? Or do I ground myself and then I go and look for the bliss? Both seem to carry some weight of truth, don't they? I can see why that and I can see why that. Well, let's look at the repercussions if we follow our bliss and then ground ourselves in that. For me, the challenge with following my bliss and following my joy and looking for it out there in the world, deciding what's going to make me happy in the world, what's going to bring me joy, that's going to make me happy. And I'm going to choose that. And then I can be, and then I can experience those emotions and the satisfaction that I'm longing for, the ones that are moving me towards fulfilling who I am, discovering who I am and fulfilling who I am. Well, there is some pitfalls in that if you haven't already figured that out in life. But let's just articulate them so that we know them. We can know them, we can hear them, understand them, and maybe even remind ourselves when we fall into that trap. Because that really is a trap I feel like the world sets for us. Because it's all about out there. We see it in all advertising and in the movies and in the shows. Everything we see out there is about just do it. Just go out and just grab a hold of life and conquer it. Well, what happens when we do that? Does it actually bring us satisfaction? How many times in your life have you made a decision and you think, oh, wow, this really brings me a lot of joy? And it sure does for a little bit. Then all of a sudden, you're back to being with you. You're back to those old feelings. Oh my gosh. And it's very stark when it comes to relationships, right? You get out of one and you think like, oh, dodge that bullet. Well, I'm going to go into this relationship and it's new and it's fresh and it's exciting. And man, this person is like everything I dreamed of. I finally have a chance to be happy. Well, maybe a few weeks go by, a few months go by, a couple years go by. If you're lucky to be in that kind of state of bliss. And then all of a sudden what happens, boom, you smack right up against that wall that you were running from before. It's like, oh my God, history starts to repeat itself. And there's the mirror again. It's like, okay, well, maybe I'll switch up another time. I'm going to find somebody. Does that ever work? The whole thing is like, if I choose that job because I'm just going to make more money, then I'm going to be happy because I can have more money and then I can have more things, but the more things cost me more money. And, pretty soon you just start playing with toys at a more and more expensive level. But are you ever really happy? Are you ever really satisfied? You then start hanging around with different friends that make even more money. And you're like, oh man, I'm low man on the totem pole. I just made $1 million this year. I need to make 5 million. Then I'll have arrived. Then I'll be really cool. And then you make 5 million. You're like, I got to get into the 100 million mark. And then pretty soon you're looking at like the billionaires. It's like, no, I need to be a billionaire. Then I'm going to have conquered this world. And then I'm going to be happy. And then I can fulfill who I am and why I'm here. Well, this is a total treadmill, right? Not even a treadmill. I should say it's the hamster wheel going around and around and around. You get spit off, you jump back on, or you jump on another one, but you're still jumping back on a hamster wheel, chasing after your joy, chasing after your bliss. Don't work, right? Does not work. But it's very insidious. It can sneak up on you. It sneaks up on me all the time. I've got to always be checking. It's a constant thing, is be checking. What is my motivation for making a certain decision? What do I think that decision is going to do to me? And if I fall into that trap of that making that decision is going to make me happier, it's going to bring me joy, then boop, I'm in the wrong place with it. So instead, let's look at the other option we have. And there's some other ones, but these are the core ones as I see it, is being that immovable rock. Is just being centered in your being. It's like, I know who Elisa is, and boom, here I am. And from this place, I'm centered. I'm at peace because I am self-aware. And man, I can just be. I'm just going to go about, I'm just going to be. And it doesn't matter what's happening out there because the world and the things out there can't affect me. It doesn't matter. I got money, no money, friends, relationship. It don't matter because bam, I'm just me. Well, great. It's really good just being you. But does life come to you? Is life going to come, an opportunity going to come sit on your doorstep? How much joy is it sitting in your own cocoon of just being you, and just like, well, I don't need friends. I don't need people. I don't need relationships, work, whatever this stuff. It doesn't matter because I'm the immovable rock. I'm zenning out. I'm sitting on the top of my mountain, lotus style, meditating is all good. We meet people like that. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but in some communities, that's the thing. That's the new age goal, right? Of just zenning out and zenning the world out, canceling it out. And I'm just me. And that's enough. Well, yes, but it's another trap, right? Because yes, being you is more than just enough. Being you is vital. Discovering who you are, and that immovable rock is vital. But it's like, for me, it's the platform. It's the very first step. The two have to come together. In fact, we could just summarize it to say that being unaffected by the world and figuring out who you are and resting in that place and finding the peace within is that sense of beingness. It's so important, your sense of being. Following your bliss and going out there, it's like, all right, I'm seeing the world, all these incredible opportunities, this big playground. I want to play in it. I want to be creative. I want to interact with that. That's my doing. I want to do it, doing it, being it and doing it. It's the order in which we do it. If we think that we're going to do things, then we can be the doobie, right? If we think we're going to be a doobie, ain't going to work. It's the wrong, that's back-ass words. Flip that around, and I'm going to be, and then I'm going to do. Now we're getting it. Now we're catching on to the key in life and the key in making any decision and navigating through this world, because it is, right? One decision after the other. We have choices from the little bitty ones to the big ones. We wake up in the morning. What's the first thing? What do I want to do? The first thing to set the stage for my day. What do I want to do next? I need to do these. Well, should I do this today? Should I go to the store? Should I call my friends? Should I, what are my projects I've got to get done? It's just decisions. What I'm going to have for dinner. Do I want to watch TV? Do I want to read a book? They seem inconsequential, but they're very, very important in the overall picture of developing you and creating that joy, moving from joy to joy in your life, from a place of bliss, a place of centeredness, a place of peace. That's where it all has to start from. So the message is start with your beingness. Start with understanding who you are, center in that, and then from there move forward. All right, so how do we move forward in bliss? How do we go from joy to joy from that place? So this video isn't really about how to find, who you are or your beingness, except to say that it comes from a place of going within, of being quiet and doing that inner exploration and clearing off all the things that you're not to find what you are. We all carry around a lot of baggage, right? I mean, it doesn't matter how long we've been at this, we clear things away. I've spent, most of my adult life, since I was in my 20s, that's like 40 years ago, pursuing who I am, why am I here, clearing off all this weight I felt of in trauma and drama and, stress from, growing up and my family and, the world around me, friends and school and all this stuff. It's been just a process of just shedding things to find my light inside, to grow that light. So it's been a process in that, but at every step along the way, I've had the opportunity to really follow my bliss and to be happy and be peaceful and centered with who I am. It's not the end product, remember? It's not something out there that's going to create the feeling and the self-discovery in here. The journey always starts inside. It never starts out there. So it doesn't matter how much trauma you have. It doesn't matter, what you've worked through, what you haven't worked through. Right now, you have the opportunity to center in yourself. You may not feel that real deep, deep peace that comes with the knowledge of knowing exactly who you are, but you have a good idea. You have enough starting points to really come into that place of grounding yourself in your higher understanding of yourself and in context with the bigger picture of things. I know all my listeners out there have that. Well, start every day with that. Start every time you need to make a decision, should be coming from this place. If you're not sure what to do, come back in and ground yourself. Take a few minutes to breathe, right? This is what meditation is about. This is what breathing is about. This is about all these little techniques out there, is to get you centered. Why do you want to get centered? Because you want to use that as the place to move forward in life. You want to use that as the place to start making decisions about what to do next. When you come from that place, it's a lot easier to see what things would truly bring you joy because you can compare them to a place of peace, right? If you're following joy out there that's not grounded in you, then you think things are going to bring you joy, but that's the masquerade of the world, right? That's the illusion, and that's the false messages that we're being fed that, yeah, that's going to make you happy. That's going to make you happy. Really? No. Coming from here, you can see you may pursue one of the same things. You may make that decision to get into that relationship or to take that job or to go to the store at that time or to, say, screw it, I'm just going to go to the coffee shop and I'm just going to relax and I'm going to write and I'm going to just hang there. You make your decision from this place. It may be the same decision that you think it's going to bring you joy, but something very different happens when you start from this trajectory, because you're coming from a trajectory, a place grounded in the light of who you are. And light attracts light, right? Like attracts like. So when you come for that place of light, and let's say you go, I don't want to sit and do whatever, I have to do task at my computer today. I want to go to the coffee shop instead. I really feel compelled that I need to just kind of relax and go there. And so you're going from this place of not just skirting your responsibilities, but I really feel like compelled to do this. This really feels right. And you go and you sit down like, this is so nice. And you're just centered. You look around and, oh my gosh, somebody walks in, they sit by you and there's something about them. You notice, you strike up a conversation and some magic happens, a magic connection that's going to help you with something or you help them. And it's just this beautiful serendipitous thing. You strike up a conversation with somebody else and something else comes out of it. You just don't know what magic lies in it. And that's where, exactly, when we follow the light from the light of our being to the light what's lighting us up in the world, we get on the trajectory of light attracting light, like attracting like, but also the trajectory of magic through serendipity, through coincidences, through the unexpected things that are just waiting for us, the gifts waiting for us. But if I went to that coffee shop because I'm reacting, doing this, I'm kind of in a bad mood and I'm isolating myself and I never look up and I never experience my surrounds because I'm not at peace, I'm in my own little tornado of turmoil, then I don't get a chance to notice or interact with the world around me. And I'm certainly not going to be attracting anybody to want to talk to me or interact with me because I got a little cloud hanging on over my head, like a little pig pen from Peanuts, the little cloud going around with them. No, get rid of that cloud. We get rid of that cloud and we can start moving towards, from something joyful to something else joyful. And in what I feel would be the natural trajectory of life. The natural way we're meant to move, we're designed to move because we are in the right pathway. We have found ourselves, you found ourselves in that moment. So let's not be too judgy about that because there is, throughout eternity, is going to be a process of self-discovery, a process of learning and growing and discovering the self, the big self, the immortal self. Is not a stagnant, finished thing. It's a constant exploration. So give yourself some space and give yourself some credit about being here, and it's part of it is an extension of that. We're here discovering, learning, and growing. It's going to be like that. What's the right decision for me today? What brings me joy today? You ask me in a month from now, you ask me in 6 months from now, and especially you ask me in a year from now, it's going to be defined very, very differently. And that's okay. That's okay. We've got the power of choice. We have all these decisions to make. They're never going to go away, and we have the power of choice. So rest in the choices that you make. How do you rest in them? You rest in them because you're coming from a place of being, and then you're doing. Then you see the light. Then you can see the spark of where I need to go. What's truly lighting me up to make that decision? So one of the things that I do, and I've done for, since I can remember, since I started my first business when I was in my late teens. It was a very creative design business, and I did it for almost 18 years. I was very successful at it, but there was a lot of decisions because it was an artistic thing. I started running a business, which I had no training in. It was a really fun challenge, but one of the things I did as far as trying to make decisions of what to do, which I still do to this day, I can just articulate it now, Where back in the day, I don't know, I just did this thing and it just worked. And what that thing is I call it my vibrational net, my feelies, all right? Just my feely senses, my intuition on all different levels and all different places, in my head, in my mind, and in my heart, and in my gut. And I cast this vibrational net out into my world. And then I just kind of scan it. I scan it from inside. And I just scan and see like what stuff, something lights up. It's like, something's lighting up in a direction over here. Then I start looking into that. I start exploring that, and it starts leading me, doors start opening in that direction. Or nothing lights up, so I don't do anything. Okay, I'm going to cast out my net again. I'm going to feel my world around me. I'm going to feel all my opportunities, all the things in my world. And I'm going to see what sparks. Where is there a light? And that light is really about what ignites in me, what feels like exciting. It's like, what's that? There's something over there. Oh, there's something with that person or that situation. I'm going to turn my attention on. I'm going to see what that is. Or I'm going to turn my attention on over here because I keep casting out that vibrational net. I'm feeling the patterns in the world around me, all the stuff that's available. And then I'm starting to move in the directions of what's lighting up in my own heart, my own mind. It's like, ooh, there's something there. There's like an opening, something I can move with. And once I get there and I move there, it can take all different routes, but at least I'm moving in the flow. So if you feel stuck, or if you feel you're in a position of having to make a decision and you're not sure what to do, slow down. In fact, come to a stop. Come to a stop and go within and feel yourself. Get grounded in who you are. And then from there, cast out, start feeling. When I say cast out a vibrational net, it's just literally just feeling your world around you. And what does it feel like? From that place where you can measure it against the peace from within, you measure that, compare it, you see, how does that line up to all these things I'm feeling? How does it line up to this decision or that decision, or all the potential decisions you could be making? Feel that out. Something lights up, start moving in that direction. Keep centering yourself as you're moving in there, and allow the twists and turns to happen. Allow the serendipities, allow the magic of coincidences and opportunities to come to you. If you don't feel it, then don't do anything, right? I'm not sure what my joy is. I can't quite feel it right now. There are those times. Before last year, I did an apprenticeship. I called my mystic mentor. I did a year-long apprenticeship, and for the first 6 months of it, I felt like I was in this really deep, dark void. In fact, I articulated it as being in a cocoon, in the womb, in the cocoon of creation. And it's like I couldn't see anything about my life. And I'm a woman that really has a lot of intuition. I've honed over my whole life of being able to feel my opportunities and feel my way through life. And then it's not just pure feeling, because then you start thinking about it, but it starts with the feeling, okay? And then we can get in the other parts of our mind, our rational self, and how to accomplish the thing. But it starts with the feeling, So at this whole point, I didn't feel anything, but I knew enough that, okay, things are changing within. It's not the time to make a decision. So I didn't make any decisions on anything. And then at a certain point, I could feel myself coming out of it. It's like, I'm starting to see things again. I'm starting to kind of ignite, and in knowing what would make me happy, or what would be, my passion, what to pursue. But that came from spending time inside. Not saying that every decision has to spend a lot of time in, but this was a chunk of time. And what came out of it was the Rebel Crone. What a blessing. It's been a blessing to me to be able to free myself, to express myself in a platform that anybody in the world can come to and listen and maybe be inspired by, and maybe not, but that's okay, because I'm doing me. And it took a while to get there. I had to be in this kind of void space where things were switching up inside. All kinds of healing and rearranging was happening so that I could come from a different place of being. Because the person that I was at the end of that process, who I be at the end of the process, was somebody that could give birth to that. Who I was before that was not that person. My sense of being then, I had definitely a sense of being, but it was different. So I'm trying to say with that, or a lot of different things I'm hopefully saying and communicating with it. Give yourself the space, give yourself the time. Being sensitive to your world out there first comes with being sensitive inside and figuring that out. Ground in your beingness, your human beingness, and then be the human doing. When you have that, then you can start doing, and then start feeling your way through the world from a place of centered, a place of peace, a place of joy. You can compare that. You can say, okay, what is like that? What would enhance that? What would resonate with that? So the toxic relationship or the toxic job or whatever, you're like, it's not resonating with that. It's not. And to go from joy to joy, from bliss to bliss, it's that resonance from here to here to here to there, whatever that line, that trajectory is, it comes from knowing this. All right. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. I'm happy to answer. We can communicate one-on-one. You can email me at info@therebelcrone.com if you want to talk a little bit more about it, because this is a really big thing. And it may be an idea, it may be concepts, it may be a knowing that you have that rings true to you. What I've been saying today, it rings true to you. And then again, the challenge is how to apply this on a regular basis. I mean, that really is the challenge, isn't it? Is to take our knowing and put it into our being and into our doing. And those two, therein lies the challenge of life, is living life according to your highest knowing. Anyway, so email me directly if you've got some questions, if you want to talk something through. Leave a comment, please, and be sure to like and subscribe and to share with anybody you think this would be helpful for. So there's my little marketing pitch that you always got to put at the end of your videos to remind people, because how often do we listen to something, we resonate, we like it, but we forget to give that acknowledgement back and forth. It's a reciprocity, right? Is the presenter gives something and then the viewer responds in a way, and their likes and their comments is all part of that process of getting the flow going for everybody. So let's flow. Okay? Cool. I hope you all have a very blessed day, and I hope that you take some time to remember to get centered in yourself, especially when you go to make a decision, even a little teeny one, like what am I going to do today? What is the first thing I'm going to do this morning? Or what a big challenge when we come to the big trajectory changes in our life. Let's all start from that place of understanding, of remembering the bright, beautiful, beloved lights that we are, and that we are okay. All is well in the world. All is going to be well. And it is really from glory unto glory unto glory. It may be masked for a while in our lives. We may not be feeling it, but that is the natural progression of things. So let's line ourselves up with that by lining ourselves up with the truth of who we are. And you know what, my friends? That's a glorious thing. So as always, peace from within, because that's where it all starts. And I'll talk to you later.